Guy. Thank God say
Last
we don't lose. Oh.
last game at home. Do we say congratulations or oh well? What can we say?
Man, it's well done, at least, considering it was our barest minimum objective, so at least well done for that. And, personally, against Newcastle, we've not been able to beat them, talk less of even score this season.
Yeah,
So well done for that again. But, generally, obviously we are low on energy and
confidence.
confidence and joy because of generally of how the season has been. Well, this is our first win in how many games?
5 games.
So
Yeah,
again, you don't, and it's at the end of the season again. So it's just like our morale is low. Just like just give us the barest minimum. You know,
yeah. The fact is the general consensus in terms of how most Arsenal fans will feel. I don't know about every other person, but I think most people will feel that we've come a long way, right? But we've gone around this mountain long enough.
of course,
Yeah,
to now start celebrating it. You
yeah.
know.
So maybe 6 years ago, this second in the league would,
Mm-hmm.
would flatter us, to make us feel excited about what's to come. But we've seen this now. This could be the third time. So we've done a tripit on second position,
Mm-hmm.
and really, it's not as exciting anymore.
I'm not celebrating second position anymore. You
Nah,
know,
nah. It's
I
it
would
it.
have, I would have been here lamenting and crying if it was like I'm now third. If after this conversation it was a case of we're now in third position,
Yeah,
now, bro.
yeah. So I think there are two ways to see it.
So I'll still start with well done, you
Yeah.
know, because it could have been worse. But generally, I'm not jumping over my head because of how the season has been.
Yeah, and the thing about how the season has been generally for us is the second half is met with unfortunate situations where we've had injuries. At the
Hmm.
same time, we've seen ourselves in positions where it looks like the players are playing like they are boxed in due
Yeah.
to Arteta's overcoaching and style of
Hmm.
management. Because for the first half of the game that we saw today, I wasn't really impressed. I wasn't
Of
really
course.
impressed. It felt like I didn't expect the players to look that leggy. They were moving the ball so sluggishly.
Mhm.
Party was looking very, very
Off,
suspect. Yeah. And
off.
I'm like, what's
Saka,
going on?
the team was just flat.
It was
It
very
was
flat.
just flat. It didn't look like they were offering much. Even when we had the ball, like we recovered the ball, there was a time where Partey won the ball. I think that when he was dispossessed, like
Mhm.
one of those times he was going, like I expected Saka to like make runs because even when you make a run, you take a player with you
You pick
to
it,
create
yeah, you
more
take a player out of
space
position
for
because
him
they're aware of your
to
movement.
push
Yeah.
forward, but you did not make a run, so he was coming, so his speed was slower than whoever was chasing him because you did not make a run, and that
Yeah.
just summed up the whole. I think that was even in the second. No, that was in the first half. Yeah, and that just summed up the whole, the whole story of how we played. We didn't play with like a positive
Urgency.
drive, urgency, and anything.
Honestly, that first half, I think we're fortunate to get away with it nil-nil.
Absolutely.
Because in as much as I want to give credit to Raya for making absolute amazing saves, at
Mm-hmm.
the same time he made some very silly errors in terms of
Like
his
his
distribution.
passes.
Yeah, his passes were very
Yeah.
suspect. And you imagine Isak on this team today with those kind of errors. We wouldn't have had the chance to go into the
We
first
would
half
have
break.
been two goals down in the first
Yeah,
25 minutes.
I'm telling you. So they actually look more of a threat in the first half. They had more output in the final third. Unlike Arsenal, like we hardly got the ball into the final third, in as much as we had more possession.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at this and I'm looking at the quality of players that we have. In as much as we want to say, oh, we deserve better quality, we can get better quality. I think the quality we have is good enough to do a job.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel the coaching, the management, it looks like these guys are playing in a box.
Mm-hmm.
Even someone like Louis Kelly, with the way he's playing, like the way he played in the first half, I saw that he wasn't making those runs. He wasn't driving
Yes.
as much. So I'm like,
Yes.
okay, this guy is playing like he has the instruction to actually,
Not go
maintain
for,
shape.
yeah.
And I'm like, why
And
would
the
you want
second
to?
half, it was different.
Yeah, second half it was different. It was obvious that okay, this is not working because
Mm-hmm.
Newcastle, they're having all the time to get back into shape. Like even when we
Mm-hmm.
have opportunities to maybe have a fast break, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
Arteta clearly looks like he still has a lot to learn and unlearn with the way we are playing. In the past 2 seasons, it has not really been impressive. The
Mm-hmm.
most impressive I've seen us in the last 3 seasons is that season we challenged for the title for the first time.
The first time, yeah.
Yes, like when we came up for the first half of the season, we're,
Mm-hmm.
we're blowing teams away.
Mm-hmm.
Can you
Mm-hmm.
remember that feeling we had that even if you score us first,
Who score you?
we will score you almost immediately and get
Yeah,
back into the game?
yeah. We had like a big habit of always scoring. Like immediately we went down because we were like
Absolutely.
always like pushing to the end. But I think and playing that way got the best out of players like Odegaard, players like Martinelli,
Yes.
because um again I agree with you that it boils down to instruction. And I think like when you see performances like the first half of this game or other games, and when we cry about the lack of performance from Odegaard or Martinelli or players like that, you also have to mention the fact that the way we play doesn't favor doesn't really favor their strengths.
Yeah.
You want we play at a slower pace, but meanwhile you have an electric winger. We play at a slower pace, but you have a player that sees a vision of a pass on the move. But when we're playing on a slower pace, he has to think of the pass, he has to think of the press, he has to think of the pass. He has to think of the
Yeah.
passes receiving. He has to think of the passes giving. He has to think of the press in a slow space. But play free flowing football where we are like where you give where you give Odegaard runners like Martinelli, he would feed him. And you
Hmm.
would feel like, oh, Odegaard can do this, Odegaard can do that, but you're not playing to his strengths. And I think that's where it boils down to um, coaching, and it boils down to like the instructions that we also have in games like this. But would you put that on pride of a novice or just not having the experience?
Yeah, I think.
Because
Yeah,
it's
I think it's
clear that
limited.
we need it.
It's limited experience. Like I would say, limited experience will play a huge factor. Like even on the pride that he is presumably having. Like we're perceiving that this guy is stuck in his ways. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's because of the limitation he has in terms of experience, whereby he feels, oh, he can actually, change things and get a better result from a result that was previously working. Like he's actually testing himself along the way. Now, where we are having a problem right now is that he has been successful in, I would say, 75% of what we were looking forward to from our club, getting into a competitive position.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, to get over the line, that last 25%, there is a major factor there I feel is lacking in terms of his experience in being able to manage games and manage quality players. Because from what I'm seeing so far, he has had good players, but I don't think he has the ability to manage them. Because when I look at our bench and I see someone like Zinchenko is not a bad player. Like if you give Zinchenko to any other club in the world, in Serie A, in La Liga, I think you would get a lot of good out of him. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel our bandwidth in terms of getting it over the line is tied to much of his inexperience as a manager, which it feels Arsenal are willing to play it out to get him to that point where we can say, oh, we have a manager that we built with and we're relying on to keep us on that level for a long time. Now, I think I was having this conversation with someone where I said, the way we look at our ownership, the management, I feel Arteta is an ideal specimen for them in the sense that you are going to keep them on the business side of things, you're going to keep them positive. Now I feel we've come to that phase right now where the fans are looking at it that okay, we need to win trophies.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the club has actually made a positive move
Of
in
course.
regards to this by bringing someone with the experience
With the
of
experience.
business to
Yeah.
close things. So right now,
It's going
I
to
feel we're
expose you.
I feel we're at that point where this coming summer and this coming season will expose
Arteta.
Arteta, will expose the intention of the club
Yeah.
so that the Arsenal fans can know what we truly should expect from our club.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
I told someone too earlier that when you look at the 11 players on the pitch, is a reflection of the manager. The
yeah,
manager is the reflection of the board or the club, the ownership or whoever. And
yes,
when you and it really tells on a club like Arsenal when you look at us like at some point we were okay with mediocrity with just being there.
mm-hmm.
Just as far as we're there. We might not win it, but as far as we're there. And it seems like, and I agree with you, like the club is moving in the right direction now to like surround Ateta or surround the have experience from top down
yeah,
rather than up than down up, right? Because if we were building with an experienced manager, we might not have the longevity to be able to build consistently
yeah,
upwards. But downwards, in terms of, we've been able to like at least stabilize the fact that we are challengers up there. So we need to now, okay, now downwards now have that experience, so to say, to get it over the board. And I think with Andre Beta, if for some reason Andre Beta leaves, that also is going to expose the club and Arteta because for whatever reason, because I'm not trying to like predict issues or whatnot, right? But
yeah,
we have heard about the debate on the choice of striker. Arteta might have the choice. If Arteta has the choice, if Andy Better has the choice, what choice? Who has the final say? And if ideally we are coming with, we need the experience influence to get us over the board, we would expect Andrew Better to have the
the
final
final,
say,
yeah,
right? Like,
yeah,
this is what I think this team needs to get over the board, not what you think you need. So in that case, if that creates an issue that now lets Andrew Better leave this, it also exposes the club.
yeah.
And
One way I also like to look at it is in the sense that I know for a fact that Ateta is having a pivotal role in decision making, right,
mm-hmm,
within the club, and I know that for a fact that that decision to go with Andre Beta as the sporting director,
mm-hmm.
Ateta would have been consulted, right,
Absolutely.
amongst the options. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel his own collaboration with Andre Beta is what he had already given a go ahead to,
Bankton. Yeah,
right.
that's why I
Now,
Bankton, yeah.
the beautiful thing that I believe would have been the case is that Arteta realizes the fact that Andre Beta has a big reputation
Mm.
that he himself, as a young manager, can only build up to. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot buy it. You cannot
Mm-hmm.
talent your way to it. You
Mm-hmm.
have to go through the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel if Arteta is really serious about stamping his name as a club legend, right, as an Arsenal coaching legend, he will have to submit himself with all humility to the experience that Andre Beta has to bring. Now,
Mm-hmm.
one
Mm-hmm.
of the interesting statements I heard from a press conference that Arteta was, having a conversation, I think it was Charles Watt's channel that gave me the preview of that, was if in as much as they're going to have options, for instance, in the striking position, there's Gyökeres, there's Sesko,
Mm-hmm.
the idea is it's best of both worlds. Like you could go with either option, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they would need to communicate effectively in order to show a stronger case, which is what I think is ideal from any productive environment where you want to reach a conclusive,
Of course. Of
decision.
course.
And I feel and Arteta and Arteta would have the job to communicate clearly with the goal in mind as a center focus that we need more goals. We need the quality that can get us over the line. And
Mm-hmm.
if they're going to argue their way through it, it is not going to be an argument with the tone of who is in charge. It's going to be an argument with the tone of who is crossing all the T's and dotting the I's in order to bring the best man in.
About the talent, basically.
Yes, about the talent.
Who is
Honestly,
ticking the
personally,
box?
among those two players, it's an interesting point of view to look at them. Like I've been seeing Gyökeres, I've seen him last 2 seasons, prolific. Even if people want to doubt because he's coming from Portugal, but I
Mm-hmm.
feel he's a quality striker, proven without a
Mm-hmm.
doubt,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the only difference between him and Sesko is that this guy is proven and this guy can actually hit the ground running.
Mm-hmm.
And I would see him as a 2-3 year plan,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, there is a different point of view that Sesko is coming in with a promise. He's younger, his ceiling is higher, he's going to get better, but would he give us the result in the next 2 to 3 years?
What are you saying? In the next year? What? I think in the next 2 to 3 years. I don't think
So,
next year.
so you see, now, if you are bringing the argument, you can see that, okay, these are two good players now. Now,
Yes.
the main issue that all of this decision might actually fall on is the
Mm-hmm.
sense of urgency that we have
Mm-hmm.
as a club to win something major.
Guy, it's all about risk. What risk are you willing to take? Right? And I think we've gotten to the point where we are right now that the risk we are willing to take is I don't want potential. I don't think we need, youth talent to build to get us over the board to make sure that the average age of the squad remains to be 23 or 24. I don't need that.
Yeah.
I need to win as at yesterday. So it seems like a situation. Let me remind you of a situation where Alex Ferguson just lost the Premier League on the last minute of the day with Aguero.
Yeah.
And it was embarrassing. And he said he can't take this anymore. And what he suffered that season was goal scoring. They struggled. Rooney had to play so many positions. Anyway, he needed to win the 20th league title. He went for the hottest guy.
Yeah.
And he got it and he won it.
Hottest and hungriest guy. Hungriest guy.
He got it and he won it. Bam. We are not talking about what happened after. It's business.
Mm-hmm.
Look at it. What makes you feel I cannot still buy Tesco again?
Yeah.
Or Isaac? Do you get? Isaac, that is my main option, right? If Isaac doesn't leave this year because of his price tag, he cannot be this expensive anymore.
Mm.
We have seen it with Harry Kane. If you don't leave at this price tag that everybody thinks you are too expensive to buy right now,
You would eventually leave.
you would leave.
Yeah, because your
So,
price will come down, definitely. You can't
yeah.
run away from that.
So, bro, I'm not saying like this is the best, but I will look at it like, okay, Sesko, I agree with you. The potentials, I agree with you. You might even start hitting Gyökeres' number next season or 2 seasons later.
Yeah.
Or something. Fine, you have the profile. But I will buy Gyökeres now, and it doesn't stop me from still buying another. Bro, is where we are right now. These guys, Man City just spent 200 million in January.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying we should spend 200 million, but I'm saying with that intention of plugging your gaps, sharp, sharp.
Yeah, you have to be that fast.
You have to be. So it's not about, we're not in the building phase anymore.
At all. Far from it.
Man City
Right.
is in the rebuilding phase. Man City
We are in
wants
the
to start
getting
all
over
over.
the line phase.
Yes, Man City wants to start all over. So when they let go of like if they are buying potential right now, if they buy a maybe like another whatever the hottest creative midfielder, I think they've even bought one guy. I've forgotten his name, right? But if like now they want to like build up with
Yeah.
that guy, and it doesn't stop them from still winning anyway.
Oh, are you
But
referring to Mamush?
no, not Mamouche. But even no, just one guy to or maybe they're in talks with him. I've forgotten his name. Like just to replace Kevin De Bruyne. You know.
Oh, okay. There's rumors that they are in talks with Florian Wirtz, but me, I doubt
Yeah,
that would happen.
yeah. I think Bayern Munich will do their German
Yeah,
connection
Bayern
and
will
get that
probably
over the
get that.
board.
Yeah.
But in terms, but even if you look at Mamouche, they lost Alvarez. They replaced him with Mamouche. Alvarez won champs, so Alvarez won them leagues, and he played that position well. So when they knew that this guy was leaving, they replaced him with the next hottest thing.
Yeah.
You're not willing to think like potential. Let's look at what we are doing. You're looking at like where you are at the moment. So I'm not trying to like give me Guy Corres, give me the hottest guy that ticks the box. I'm not saying I'm not
So,
I'm not I'm not coming down to him, right? But I'm
hmm
saying if I tick all the boxes and I'm thinking of like the person that is like if you look at the hottest pick bracket
yeah,
of a striker, maybe like 3 to 4 years or whatnot. Like because if you look at like Van Persie, when it was hot, I'm like referring to when Alex bought him for the 20th league. He had like 2 years, 3 years brackets.
yeah,
He gave Arsenal maybe like 1.5, and he gave them one solid one, and it was hot.
was good enough to get it over the line.
It's that bracket that I'm talking about, and that's where I feel we are right now. That's why because the numbers don't lie.
Yeah, and one of the things that bothers me, right, is if I line up the three players that we've been talking about as Arteta's priority, based on what we know of Arteta and how we see him play
Mm-hmm.
his football. First would be Isaac. I think that would be his first option.
Of course.
But would I be wrong to say that his second option would actually be Sesko before Gyökeres?
Yeah.
In the sense that it looks like Arteta is setting up our team in such a way that he doesn't need his striker to be the highest goal scorer.
Yeah.
So he needs someone that can play up front but still contribute a lot to play for his wide men.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Cross.
if
That
you
can
look at
benefit from the crosses as well.
yeah, but if you look at the first attacker that Arteta brought in based on what he has identified as his type of striker, he brought in Gabi Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Gabi Jesus, before that knee injury, trust me, he was actually doing a lot. He wasn't
Mm-hmm.
contributing so much as far as him scoring the goals, but he
Mm-hmm.
was contributing to our attack. We're
Yes.
very unpredictable.
He had
So,
just come back from being on like a form slump, and he
yeah.
was like picking up. Then he had the injury again.
Yeah. So, looking at that, I'm like, would the makeup of a striker that Arteta has in mind, would that really impact his decision? Because I don't think, from what I've seen from Gyökeres, I don't know if Arteta favors that kind of a striker.
So it boils down to the fact of is this the pride of a novice, or you just don't want to do something?
He wants to do it his own way.
You understand? Is it that you want to do it your way, or you are not ready? If you have to win something in one way, or you stick to your own way, what would you do? Your way hasn't gotten us anything. It hasn't gotten us over the board. Your way has gotten us in the conversation, but it hasn't
So
gotten
far,
us over the board.
so far, so good. It looks like Arteta would rather do it his own way. And if his own way doesn't work out, he believes in his smartness to adapt the team to at least come up with a result. For example, he went his own way to spend the whole 65 million on Kai Havertz, who I would say is not worth all the money that we've spent on him. Right? I'm telling you, like for a fact, I don't have anything against Kai Havertz, but let's call spade a spade.
He
He
has
signed
made
this
it
guy.
work.
Yes, he signed this guy not as a striker, but he
Mm-hmm.
signed him with the mindset that okay, even if he doesn't work in this position, he might work in a different position because he
Mm-hmm.
says it over and over again.
Like a
He's one of the most
dynamic footballer.
yeah, he's dynamic, he's versatile, which is good. But right now, it looks like he's out of those excuses, in the sense
Bro,
that if he's going to make a decision now, he cannot be adapting a wrong decision to the team.
yes, this is what I'm talking about. Every player that Arteta buys is a player that can play multiple positions. And we are asking for a player that is an out striker to
Yeah,
get us over the board. That is
best in
what,
class in that position right now is
yeah,
what we're looking for.
that is what we are looking for. An out striker, not
Yeah.
a in this profile, in that profile that can contribute. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't want him to contribute in any way.
If you ask me, first and foremost, get out and out center forward. Then, so for instance, off the top of my head, if I'm going to look at players and say, okay, this is my decision as a striker that we're looking for.
Yeah.
If Isaac is not available, please go for Gyökeres. Now, if you want an attacker that can say you can use him in a versatile, go for Cunha.
So, so that's what I'm talking about. That versatility that you are looking for in that your option one and option two that you are current on, you are doing a giddy to that this must be. You can plug and play it in another part of your jigsaw because we need more
Yeah,
than one anyway.
yeah,
So,
obviously.
bro, imagine if City was where we are right now and they did not have Haaland. Who would they go for? Your Pep was at a point where he knew he needed an out and out striker. He
Yeah.
had every other piece. He needed an out and out striker, and he went all out, and he won the treble.
And that's one of the things I expect Arteta to also observe and learn from, that
Yeah,
this your master actually worked with a false nine. He got results with the false nine. But now
yeah.
that he actually adapted his team
He don't move
to a
beyond that.
prolific, he adapted to what would work and it brought the results.
Yo,
So
bro,
who are you?
when people started having false nine, part of the things that came up was like how like ball playing center backs, like fast ball playing center backs, started being needed in the Premier League. Like, oh, okay, this is like you want to draw me in because you don't think I can catch up, with the balls behind, or
Mm-hmm.
when I win the ball, you don't think I can like start attack or something and everything. Okay.
Yeah,
But when Premier League evolved that part, he needed an out and out striker that will keep the centre backs busy,
very
to
busy
keep them
there.
on their last toes, on the last, create like all the chances that we know that Arsenal will create. We need an out and out striker. Like your business is just turn left, put it in the post. Turn right, put it in the post. I don't know. It's just a out and out goal scorer. You can
I don't
run
I
the
don't think I
channels.
don't
You
I
can
don't think
hit,
anybody would
just
deny.
just be hitting on the target. Just be hitting on the target.
I
Just
don't think I don't think anybody will deny that that's what has actually cut us short this season.
yeah.
I think this is going to be the first time an Arsenal attacker, or rather Arsenal marksman striker, would actually finish a season in a single digits
In like
goal
so what,
tally.
7 years or something.
Yeah, and honestly, considering all that we've done in the past two windows,
We deserve the
we deserve
striker.
more than that. We deserve more than
Ah,
that.
come on.
We
We
deserve more than that.
deserve more than this.
But that being said, I feel like what will be our X factor right now, knowing full well that all of this is the obvious for the team. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we need a striker, we need another attacking player either on the left or right, or somebody that can play double. We need another attacking midfielder, right? And
Of course.
Zubamendi looks like, oh, he's already in. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
one more midfielder. Then also the defense. If we're having to lose Zinchenko and Tierney, we definitely need
Mm-hmm.
someone else in, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, what's crucial for us at this point, where I feel Berta can actually come in and stamp himself as, okay, this is the intensity of what we want, is making the signings as soon as possible. So if you ask me,
Mm-hmm.
I want to see June wrapping up about 70 to 80% of our business.
By the time we're playing preseason, like
We
almost like
should have all the
the
players.
full
Like,
score should be like 95% done.
yes, that's what has contributed. That's what contributed to our season that we actually challenged for the first time.
Oh
We had
god.
our business done early, quick, and fast. So
Mm.
now I feel that's just what we are going to be. That's what we're looking forward
It's a
to.
big summer. It's a big summer. It's a big
Yeah,
summer
this
for
summer should
everybody in the
happen.
club.
This summer should happen without any delay, without any laxity. Like
Mm.
we shouldn't be waiting for the last 3 weeks to now start panicking on who's coming in.
The
There are so
hunger,
many.
the hunger is mad. It's crazy because I was just talking to somebody that I think to make it very unbearable for the club, like embarrassing, to make it like to ginger them to be on their toes. I think I want Tottenham to win the Europa.
Bro, I was going to bring this up before the end of this
I
conversation.
think I want Tottenham to
Talking
win it.
about the finals, like seeing all that has happened in the course of the season, I'm like, we might just be on course for underdogs to actually come home with a result. Because now we think
That final will be mad.
Crystal Palace has done it,
Ah,
Newcastle has done it. Now
London will
Tottenham.
be unbearable for Arsenal.
As an Arsenal fan, you would not expect an Arsenal fan to say this, but you know what? I feel that is what we need as a stinker in our ear for our neighbors to say that they have had
Yeah,
a European trophy before.
yeah.
Now, this is
Before
hard
us.
for me to say,
It
but
will be
I feel
before us.
this, yes, I feel this is what we need to actually give us a hit
Hey!
from behind that, yes, we need to wake up. Man U, honestly speaking, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, I would say, yeah, Man U, but with what I've
I
seen and
want
heard
it.
from
I
Man U
want it
fans,
very unbearable. I want the hunger.
yeah,
I want the
I want it,
pressure.
yeah.
I want the pressure. I want the sting to be on there. So I want it to be a very uncomfortable and angry summer. Like let all of them come back with like, I mean, ripped. That okay, you were working out like you know that is basically do or die in next
Mm-hmm.
season. You have to show up. You have to be on your toes. And I'm talking about everybody, including the coaches, including Arteta, including every player, even the squad players, even the academy players, bro. Because I'm telling you, it takes everybody, even the board members, the club, the owners, because it doesn't take little like this for the Arsenal fans to revolt, to
Yeah.
protest. And imagine when your neighbors not when oh god Tottenham will
No,
now win.
but that would be
Hey,
real bad though. That would be real bad.
Tottenham will win. Crystal Palace will win. Crystal Palace will win in the south. Tottenham will win in the north. Hey.
Yeah. So you now
Yeah.
have you have almost like, okay, West Ham has actually won European, Chelsea obviously. Now
Yeah.
Tottenham will say
It's just
yes.
Fulham. It's just Fulham. It's just Fulham that will be doing a Gideon, will do Shakara.
Yeah, but
Or
right now
Brentford.
I think
Or
every other
Brentford.
club apart from Chelsea in London would be a slap on our face for them winning any trophy in Europe or even locally.
Bro.
Yeah, any other club in
Can't
London
even
winning a trophy should be a slap on our face.
Chelsea is going to win another one. Chelsea probably going to win the Confederation.
Yeah, no, like I'm even saying Chelsea has done
They've
enough.
done everything. They've
Yeah,
competed
they've done enough on a European level, on a domestic level, to stake their claim as biggest
uh,
club.
as actually one of the biggest clubs in London.
Yeah, so but that putting them outside the set.
Any other thing will just be history.
Yeah. So, but
Any other thing will just be like far history.
it's all up to the whole team management to take on this summer with all intensity, because there should be no excuses again.
No
Like
excuses.
done with this second place.
No excuses. No excuses.
Now, there's so much talk about players available in the market, so many options, and man, off the top of your head, I know you think about striking positions, but for other positions, who are the players that you're actually considering will be a good fit for this particular squad in terms of the building process that we're looking at for the summer?
Um. Um. So first things first, obviously, an out-and-out striker.
Yeah.
I also think a creative midfielder. Um, obviously, I would have loved to have like Florian Wirtz as well, but
When
but
Bayern comes calling,
but
Bayern Munich,
yeah, when Bayern comes calling, and he's German, they'll probably send
yeah,
all the pressure to his parents' house
family.
and everything and family. You know,
Yeah.
but I actually think in terms of also how we play, dynamic players would be needed, and depending on how the shape is, you don't want your player to be cut off the wing and he doesn't know how to create right.
Yeah.
Is Xavi Simmons for me would come into play very well. That's somebody that I feel is also hungry, added with talent.
Yeah.
He he needs to prove that he belongs to the biggest stages, and
Yeah.
I think he's been short of that opportunity as well in the world of football. You know, he's just bounced around, up all there and there, and he has shown that his quality. Only I
That's
might be
quality.
wrong, it might be something personal or something, but I don't think he's been given the opportunity on the biggest of stages. And not that he's not been around, from Barcelona to PSG and stuff like that. You
Yeah.
know, so I think that he'll be I think he will fit into our team very well. And on the left wing, I can throw in a Cunha as well. Not just because not just because he can even play anywhere, but he can play the left wing and the striking position,
Yeah.
depending on how, again, the shape or how we're set up, depending on who we have. Sometimes we don't have to play against a team with our big frame striker. We can revolve
Yeah.
with Cunha as well. So for me, that would be my obviously Zubimendi has come into the frame. Zubimendi can also play differently. He can also be a creative guy from deep. He can
Deep
also
line
play
midfielder,
defensively. He's more agile than
yeah.
Partey, if you ask me right now. Partey is not as agile as
Is
before, than he used to be. So I see how, Zubimedi can come into play there. Then I also think a left back, because
traditional. Traditional left back.
traditional like left back that um again that is dynamic, that can play that winger position
Yeah,
when
because if
but there's a name that is like underrated, Theo Hernandez.
yeah, but that's Theo Hernandez. I think I'm hearing
Personal
Madrid.
issues.
Yeah, I think I'm hearing Madrid approach him as well because they also need a left wing, a left.
I'm I heard he was offered to Madrid, but they've not accepted.
Okay.
They've not like went on for the deal. But he also shows that he's available,
Mm-hmm.
and that's somebody that is not experienced. It's somebody that if it doesn't work next season, next 2 seasons, or even if it works next season, 2 seasons, like that's the end. You probably
We're moving on.
thanks for your service and everything, and I can bank on the development of MLS by that time. After playing
Yeah.
all those years to be that guy right now. But because it's not as if MLS is not ready, but for us again to be talking about depending on this 18-year-old, it's not as if he's not good, but even
Yeah.
in how we are playing and how we have been playing, it hasn't gotten us over the board. So potential can continue under experience for
Yeah.
instant win. And so for me, that's how I'll move it. I think on the right back, we're good. Center, I think we need one center back though, not a starting center back, just for cover, because obviously we know Gabriel, Saliba, 1 and 2,
We
but
have
three.
PVO to cover for either
If you,
position.
yeah,
Like
for one, so we need a right-footed center back. Even though Calafiori didn't, Calafiori can also play center back, and sometimes I even feel more comfortable with him from center back in terms of how he wins the ball and how he can start attack or how he can drop passes.
yeah.
There's more intention and urgency in his play,
Yeah.
but I still think he's left footed and all is just going to be an option for left back, left centre back, left centre back. I don't
Yeah. What
think I don't think it would make sense to have our second option of centre back pairing to be Calafiori and Kyrgios. I'm
Mm.
not comfortable with that.
No, there's no, yeah, there's no. So what I'm
Good
looking at right
balance.
now is either they're going to bolster from a right back point of view, so that we have Timber and another option, so that White can actually debutize
At
for,
centre back
yeah.
because it seems
But
White
that
has
that
lost
that
that
begs to
pace.
that begs to also observe that we have a defender that I think we might just have to move on. It might come at a loss,
Tommy,
Tomiyasu, because he's
Tommy,
a wonderful defender, but in terms of his availability, it has been abysmal.
Tommy. I forgot about that guy, man.
Yeah,
Tommy.
and I'm worried for him. I'm also worried for someone like Calafiori, who has actually had back-to-back injuries that is unwarranted.
Mm.
Maybe because of his style of play or something. But it looks like
Did you
they
see
might.
that scar on his leg before he came on the bench? Before he
Who's
came
that?
off the bench, Calafiori.
Oh, the one that they wrapped in the stuff.
Yeah, there was like a line scar, like a surgery scar
Oh
on
yeah.
his knee, and I was like, man, like at what age you probably have, like multiple
Well, most
issues.
of our Timber has it. Martinelli has it.
Yeah.
Jesus now has it 2 legs. Saka has it. Okay, but that
Yeah.
Saka's is his hamstring,
He's by the
not the knee.
side. He's by the
Yeah.
side. Yeah. I saw the scar as well.
And I'm like, oh my god. But well, I like to end things on a positive note. I would rather see the cup half full than half
Half
empty.
full than half empty. In fact, facts, facts.
We are competing on all fronts. We have a new season. I think the manager, the team, they are fired up to deliver on something big next season. They have their eye
Mm-hmm.
on the prize, not just
Mm-hmm.
competing but delivering. And we would always support the club, regardless
Absolutely.
regardless of the situation. We've been doing this
Absolutely.
even when we had Skulachi and
We've
Senderos.
had it worse than this.
We've had it
I'll
worse
say
than
someone
this.
when we had like Shamak leading my I didn't I we got his Shamak to lead us in winning the league. Oh my god.
No, if you actually look back at our story, man, after 2007, bro.
Our last striker was Aubameyang, and that was like what 7 years ago, 6 years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah, that was our last
That was
prolific
our
goal
last
scorer.
striker, man.
Yeah, so we need someone. Though it feels like globally right now we are short on strikers. Like that
I
era
don't
of
know.
having prolific strikers, it looks like it has thinned out. The same way prolific number 10s have also thinned out. Because honestly speaking, looking at the market, a couple of seasons ago, if you look for
Mhm.
a striker, you'll be calling a lot of names. But now that's that category of prolific strikers. They're getting older, and the young ones are supposed to come in and be prolific. We are not seeing them there yet. We're not seeing them there yet. So,
But also, football tactics doesn't favor prolific strikers anymore. So we might say, oh, we don't have them anymore, but football isn't creating them anymore.
but look at, okay, so let me give you a player from back in the day, our legend, Henry. If a Henry is still a player today, do you
Mm-hmm.
think the style of football right now would hinder him?
Henry will operate from the left in
He
style
can,
of football now.
Right now, Henry
Yeah,
can operate from the left and he will do very well centrally. So, the
yeah.
closest player to him in terms of like for like, I would even
Mm-hmm.
say Isaac is close to him, because
But
Issa can actually go from the left. But if you look at ball playing striker that
yeah,
can beat you on the line,
yeah. But Isaac's frame, or Henry obviously was not as tall as Isaac.
yeah. So frame
But
wise, they are different
yeah,
because
so
their build is
so
different.
so their fame is different. So their profile, Henry was typically a winger. So
Yeah,
again, football then didn't favor his type of wingers because it was almost like he was not a winger, not a striker in between.
like Mbappe.
So if the Mbappe came up then, they'll probably struggle like, oh, he's not scoring goals from the left or from the right. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So me, I feel like it's part of like is how football has evolved. When football evolved, we stopped seeing tens. We stopped seeing classic tens. We always talk about how Jesus Rodriguez, James Rodriguez was the last classic 10. And from then, football evolved in a way that we didn't see a classic 10 anymore, thanks to them Barcelona and Spanish football
Yeah.
dominance. You understand? The 10 era, the 10 went away. And we are now at the tail end of that phase of evolution of football, where we've seen that, okay, you need more than this. You actually still need an out and out striker
Like
that is just more mobile, that can score goals and can also assist, but is where now the team wants to balance on. Are you just focusing more on person that is just scoring goals rather than scoring goals and
providing
assisting?
assist, yeah.
Because that's what differentiates an Isak to like a Haaland. You understand? They're
Mm-hmm.
just like banging goals. You understand? But Haaland is just like banging goals. Isak is an all round, he'll
Yeah, so
left and stuff like that and stuff. So that's where, but I still think that we're at the tail end of it, and football is starting to go back to that point that we need
we
out
need
and
center
out
forward.
strikers.
Out
Yeah,
and out center forward.
yeah. So that's
So
why the Sesko are ahead of the curve, and
yeah.
that's why the potential of that striker is ahead of the curve. Is hot now, but we'll still see them. Them Chido B Martin are in that frame. You understand? Like people are just like goal bangers. You understand? You just so there's so many you who were about to see.
We'll
So I
see. We'll see more of them. This guy
yeah,
too
we're
in,
about
in
to see more
Dortmund
of
too
them.
is not a bad shout too. Grassi. Grassi too is a goal scorer.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. Even Nicholas Jackson.
yeah,
He might not be popping right now, but we're looking at those guys that are absolutely short of any other thing, sort of putting the ball in the net.
yeah,
The positioning, the instinct, those are things that you really cannot like train in people. And the profile, where because you know that the way where the game is, there could be a cross from far from your left back or your right back because you are running into a channel. You must be useful in that way.
yeah.
Height, physicality comes into play. So
It's all good. Last home game of the season, we've gotten the 3 points. It looks like we've secured second position. The last game of the season is going to be away at Southampton, where
Southampton.
we won't have our coach on the sidelines because of his unnecessarily passionate antics. But it's all good. We probably
It's
really
good
don't
for
need
him.
him
It's
on
good
the
for him.
touchline so that we can actually just enjoy our football. But
Exactly.
yeah, thank you for everyone who watches and engages us. Like, subscribe, and let's keep the Arsenal love going.
We'll probably do a physical post, post after the season to just like review the season
Yeah, yeah,
and
that would be cool. That would be cool.
talk
That would be cool.
about intentions for next season, realistic
Yeah,
intentions now.
yeah. Summer is going to be a busy one, so yeah, it would be nice to link up and actually have that conversation in person. Nice.